Great. Well, I'm here with Dan and Ali. Rajan, you're joining us from Liverpool today. Is that right, guys?
Yes, we are.
Great. So you're a junior catalyst in the Mersey Catalyst team. So why don't you just introduce yourselves, tell us where you're based, what you're doing for jobs, and then what does it mean to be a juniors catalyst? So over to you.
Yeah, I'm Alison. I'm currently working at Wiston Hospital in the Burns and Plastics department as a junior clinical fellow, which has been really fun. Yeah. Dan.
And I'm Dan. I'm an A&E reg, and I work at the Royal, which is a hospital in central Liverpool.
Brilliant. Yeah, great. So you're on the catalyst team as juniors catalyst. What's that, and how did that come about?
Yeah, so we took over the role from a few of our friends a couple of our friends who decided to travel across the world, so to Australia. So basically, to be a catalyst for the junior doctors is just to connect the junior doctors in the area, and just to be sort of a point of contact so that we can connect as Christian doctors and share experiences and encourage each other.
Mm-hmm. Great. Sounds good. Dan, you're just nodding away like, yeah, that's it.
Nothing to add.
Pretty much. That's great. Yeah. And I think, it's just worth noting that there's some other folk around the country doing similar things. The purpose of this is really just say, what is it that you guys are doing? What have you found effective? What's a challenge? Just so we can all hear that and think, okay, we can apply that where we are. So what are some of the things that you've been doing in the last few months? Give us a flavour.
So I think we've done a mixture of things. So one thing we've been doing is having a book club. So last two books we've gone through have been a mix of different topics, medical related, and also just general kind of rest and solitude related. And we've also been doing Bible studies on different topics. So we've done compassion fatigue. The next one we've got coming up is one on failure. And we've also had just times where we've met for food and chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And what have you found to be some of the things you've enjoyed about that? So what is it that you think you and others how have you benefited from just getting together in that way?
Yeah, I think it's been just really refreshing to be in a space with other Christian doctors and just have the freedom to debrief about things at work, to chat through frustrations, areas of inadequacy, areas of systems failure, personal failure, and actually not just be an area where you just vent, but an area where you vent, but you're all pointing each other back to what that looks like going forward in a gospel and Christ-like way. So yeah, productive venting.
Great. I mean, any tips on how to do that well? Because I'll be honest, I've been to a couple of meetings where in CMF, like when I was a junior doctor, and I thought, goodness, this is just venting, and I thought didn't feel very productive. How do you turn it into productive venting? Which I love that phrase.
I think if you start the group, if you go into a group with a topic that we've got in mind, such as compassion or one of the others we've said, then you can do a Bible study and ask for examples of where there's been frustrations, and then you've already prepared verses from the Bible, or you have other people who can share verses from the Bible which try to focus on those frustrations and turn them around to something positive, or where we can work to mirror how Jesus would do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And actually, I've got a couple of your leadership Bible studies, which we've got on our resource bank. So if others want to use them, please feel free. But I've seen how you've done that. So yeah, that's really great. I mean, juniors move around a lot, don't we? I mean, how's that been like, particularly over a pandemic and everything being virtual, but just with the sheer movement of people being there and then not being there, how do you handle that? And maybe sometimes disappointment when not as many people turn up to things or keep in touch.
Yeah, I mean, that can be a little bit discouraging. I think especially in this last year or two, we had maybe 5 or 6 people that were regular attendees of the Catalyst meeting, so the junior doctors meeting. So, and then all of them have moved away in the last year. So it's been a little bit difficult sometimes getting consistent engagement. But I think just reminding ourselves, whether one person shows up or 4 or 5 people show up or 6 people show up, point is, I guess, that if we can be encouraged to be better doctors or better examples for Christ at work, then that's all we're there to do, is to just encourage each other. So whether it's one person that gets encouraged or 5 or 6, I mean, I'm encouraged every session, so every session's great.
Yeah. I think as well, something that Grace, who led the session, led the Catalyst last year, said that if we try and pitch into people individually and just see how they're doing and ask if they're available to come, then it just shows that we're aware of people who are in Mersey, and that we'd like to see them and share with them and encourage each other.
Yeah.
Great. So really sort of relational way of doing things. Yeah. Great. So we're in March 2022. If we were to look forward 12 months, what the kind of things you'd hope you could look back and say this has happened in the last year in Merseyside?
So I think, looking forward, it would be one thing I think is just creativity, or continued creativity in how we can lead our set of juniors well. Because although the Bible study and book club have been great, we don't want to just use it as a sort of blank template for a one-size-fits-all kind of way of doing the juniors' work. So so just I think being mindful of different ways where we can minister to juniors.
Yeah, also looking at the wider Catalyst region of Mersey, we've been able to create good hospital groups with different CMF members of all sort of health professionals, and I think it would be good for prayer that just grows, and that there's more connection and growth in the teams to pray for the hospitals, and for there to be a sense of community in that respect.
Brilliant.